An aquarium holding African cichlids is 4 inches higher than it is wide. Its length is 28 inches and its volume is 8,960 cubic inches. And our job is to find the height and the width of this aquarium. Well, first thing you notice is that we're given the volume. And since we're given the volume, it's a big clue that we're going to need the formula for finding the volume of a rectangular solid. And that formula is that the volume is equal to the length times the width times the height of that rectangular solid. And the aquarium looks like this. You kind of use your imagination. It's a rectangular solid. It's got a length, a width, and a height. And the length, we were told, is 28 inches. And the height and the width are the two things that we're trying to find. And it tells us that it's 4 inches higher than it is wide. So what we'll do is we'll start out by letting the width equals x. We don't know what it is, so let's just call it x. Well, if the width is x, then the height is going to be 4 inches more than that. So it'd be x plus 4. So now we have variables for the unknowns, and we have actual numbers for the length and the volume. So when we plug in these things into the formula, volume is equal to length times width times height, then we'll have an equation. The volume was 8960 is equal to the length, which was 28, times the width, which we said was x, times the height, which is x plus 4. All right, now you could just distribute the 28 through the parentheses and proceed from there, but when you look at 8960 and 28, you observe that they're both even numbers. So you can divide 2 into both, and then you discover that you could divide 2 into both again. So you can actually divide 4 into 8960 and 4 into 28. And by doing so, we end up with 2240 on this side, and 4 goes into 28 7 times, so you get 7x times x plus 4 on this side. Again, I just divided 4 into both sides of the equation just to make the numbers a little smaller. And now we distribute the 7x through the parentheses. 7x times x is 7x squared, and plus 7x times 4 is 28x. Well, we see we have a quadratic equation, so we solve quadratic equations by setting them equal to 0. So we subtract 2240 from both sides, and we get 7x squared plus 28x minus 2240. And to solve this, we will have to use factoring. So, well, there's other ways of solving quadratic equations, but at this point we've only learned how to solve by factoring. So we use the trial and error method. And I'm not going to lie to you, it took a little bit of trial and error, but not a whole lot to come up with 7x minus 112. And this one is x plus 20. It didn't take too much because I started out looking at the 2240. Well, once I put 7x and x here, because I knew I had to get 7x squared out of that product, but I knew that this times this had to be 2240. So really I just started with dividing 20 into that, and I came up with 112. Sure enough, I just had to place them in the right place. But it might have taken a little bit more. Just kind of got lucky. But with a little trial and error, you get those two factors. And so you set each factor equal to 0. That's the next step in solving a quadratic equation. Set each factor equal to 0, and then you solve each of these little equations here. Well, this one, you subtract 20 from both sides. You get x is equal to negative 20. Well, we know this can't possibly be the solution because you can't have a negative length. And remember, x represents the width in this case. You can't have a negative width. So we know that's not a possible solution for this particular word problem. In this case, the next one we add 112 to both sides. divide both sides by 7, and we get x is equal to 16. So again, we said that x was the width. So we know that the width of this thing is 16, and the height is 16 plus 4, so the height is 20, and these were inches, I believe. So we can check our answer, because we know that the volume has to be, they gave us that, 8960, so check it by multiplying the length times the width that we just found times the height that we just found, and verify that you get 8960, which we do.